first host in this case, that is Plasmodium, is the humans, and the second host, which is also called as the vector, is the Anopheles mosquitoes. And as you know that the blood feeding mosquitoes are the female mosquitoes. So female Anopheles mosquitoes are basically the then if you look at the location of these parasites, that is the Plasmodium vivax, they live in the liver cells. Okay, so they multiply and they grow in the liver cells, and after completing their development in the liver cells, they migrate into the bloodstream, that is into the red blood cells or RBCs. All right. And remember that the liver stage of this infection is asymptomatic, meaning that you won't feel anything, or you won't feel discomfort when the malaria is there in the liver stage or in the liver cells. But when it comes to the blood stage, that is it enters the RBCs and the development in the RBCs occurs, the symptoms of malaria start coming. Okay, so you will find the symptoms only when the malaria has reached your blood. Okay, so the Plasmodium has reached your blood. The vector, as I have told you, that it is the Anopheles mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito, that serves as the vector, means it carries the disease from one human to the another human. Okay, so it is not transmitted directly, rather it requires the help of a vector or a transmitting agent. And in contrast to humans, the mosquitoes do not suffer with any illness or anything when it is present inside the body of the mosquito. So it is only the humans which are harmed. So if you look at the life cycle of the malarial parasite, as it is, as you are aware, that it involves two hosts. First, how it is transmitted, that the sporozoites, okay, which is the first stage of the Plasmodium vivax, it is injected into the bloodstream of the host, that is the human host. So when the mosquito bites and the mosquito is infected with the Plasmodium parasite or the Plasmodium protozoan, it injects or inoculates the sporozoites into the human host. And these sporozoites then migrate to the liver cells, where they mature into the schizons. Okay, so the second stage, the infective stage, is the sporozoites, and in the liver cell, they mature into the schizons. Okay, and these schizons can then rupture to release the merozoites. The third stage is the merozoites. And in some cases, there is another stage which is called as the hypnozoites. So hypnozoites are basically the dormant stage. That means they are the inactive stage of Plasmodium vivax, and they can remain or persist in liver in case of the individuals which are treated, or even in the untreated individuals. So they can remain, or they can circumvent the medication. तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं, क्लोरोक्वीन, हाइड्रोक्लोरोक्वीन, क्विनीन और artemisinin derivatives, mefloquine. So there are n number of anti-malarial drugs which are given to the patient suffering from malaria. But sometimes due to resistance, or if somebody is not taking medication, so under both cases, either due to resistance or due to improper medication or no medication, these Plasmodium vivax, they remain in the dormant stage in the liver cell. And always remember that these dormant stage causes the relapse of malaria. So what happens that after sometimes after treatment, you are cured, and then within a matter of few weeks or months or even years later, you are not bitten by another Anopheles mosquito and you get malaria. So how do that malaria occur? That is called as the relapse of malaria. That means the hypnozoites which are present in the dormant forms, they transform and they produce the infective stage. And after the initial replication in the liver, and that is called as the exoerythrocytic schizogony. So because the schizons are there, it is called as the schizogony. All right. And it is called as exoerythrocytic because it is taking place outside the RBCs. All right. So these parasite, they go under the replication, and then the parasite undergo asexual multiplication in the erythrocyte. So these invades merozoites, they invade the RBCs, and that cycle is called as the erythrocytic schizogony. So schizont stage is present both in the liver cells as well as in the RBCs. Okay, always remember that. And these merozoites are basically then transformed into are then infect the RBCs, and where they transformed into the ट्रोपोजोइट स्टेज, जो कि हमने स्टडी भी किया था प्रैक्टिकल में, दैट इज द रिंग स्टेज. And then finally they turn into or mature into the schizons. Right. So schizons are present in both the liver cells as well as in the RBCs. And always remember that the schizons which are present in the RBCs, when these RBCs get ruptured, these schizons are broken down and they release again the merozoites. So these merozoites are released, and this is called as the erythrocytic schizogony. Okay. And these merozoites can again infect the RBCs, and the cycle goes on. तो अगर ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होगा तो मेरोजॉइड बार बार मैच्योर होते रहेंगे RBCs के अंदर. अब बार बार लिवर में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. This simply merozoites are present in the RBCs. They will transform into the ring stage. Ring stage will mature to the schizons. Schizons will rupture, releasing merozoites. Merozoites here again RBCs. All right. And some of the parasites, that is the protozoan parasites, they can differentiate into the sexual forms. Okay. So that is called as the gametogenesis. Okay. So in case of the RBCs, there are two different gametocytes, that is the microgametocytes and the macrogametocytes. Okay. And these blood stages, that is the merozoites and all these, they are basically responsible for the clinical manifestations of the disease. That means all these symptoms will be appearing in this phase of the infection. So what these gametocytes do basically, they help in the transfer of the infection from one host to another, like from one human to another. So these male gametocyte, so they are again microgametocytes. So हमने जैसे पढ़ा था micronuclei और macronuclei, वैसे ही microgametocyte, smaller one, it is the male gametocyte, and the female gametocyte is the macrogametocytes. They are both taken, they are ingested by the Anopheles mosquito, and they are then developed inside the mosquito. All right. And inside the mosquito, what the development is taking place is termed as the sporogenic life cycle or the sporogenic cycle. So there are two types of cycles, sporogenic and schizogonic. So in the sporogonic life cycle, what happens that when these microgametocytes and macrogametocytes, they are taken up by the Anopheles mosquito, these microgametes then penetrates the macrogametes and they cause the fertilization. And after fertilization, what will happen? The zygotes will be formed. So the zygotes which are present inside the mosquito. So always remember that these, now the cycle is occurring inside the mosquitoes. All right. So gametocytes will be formed in the humans, picked up by the mosquito, and fertilization will occur. Then यानी कि sexual reproduction कहाँ होगा? सिर्फ mosquito में होगा, humans में नहीं होगा. Always remember that. And the zygotes then become motile. Okay, so movement will be started and they become elongated, long cylinder-like हो जाएंगे वो, elongated, and that stage is called as the ookinase stage, right? And which invades the midgut wall of the mosquito, where they develop into the oocysts. All right. So this elongated form, then it is present in the midgut. All right. So उसके elementary उसके डाइजेस्टिव ट्रैक में प्रेजेंट होंगे मिडगट के अंदर, और वहां से फिर वो इन्वेड कर जाएंगे, एंड देन दे विल डेवलप इनटू द oocyst. देन द oocyst विल रप्चर एंड रिलीज द स्पोरोजोइट्स. ओके, सो स्पोरोजोइट्स क्योंकि फॉर्म्ड होते हैं, देयरफॉर इट इज कॉल्ड एज द स्पोरोगोनिक लाइफ साइकिल. राइट. और उसमें शाइजोन्स प्रेजेंट होते हैं, फॉर्म्ड होते हैं, तो इसलिए वो शाइजोगोनिक लाइफ साइकिल कहलाती है. So the oocyst will then rupture, mature, and they will rupture and they release the sporozoites, which then enter into the salivary gland of the mosquito. Or from the salivary gland, when the mosquito takes blood meal or it bites the human, it can be transmitted into the host. Okay, thus completing the life cycle. तो स्पोरोजोइड से हमने स्टार्ट किया था और अल्टीमेट एंड भी स्पोरोजोइड्स पे किया कि जो कि कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है, मस्कीटो के सलाइवरी ग्लैंड्स के अंदर. ऑलराइट, सो दिस इज अ बेटर पिक्चर.
आज की जर्नी आ पा रही है आपकी?
अब आ रही है? हेलो
जी सर जी.
Okay, so this is the better picture of the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax. So here you can see that it starts with the mosquito taking bite in the humans. So first the mosquito bites, it releases the sporozoites. So it is written here, sporozoites. The sporozoites migrates to the liver cells, okay, and they infect the liver cells. So it is present inside the liver cells. Then it matures into the schizons, okay, and then the schizons rupture, releasing the merozoites, okay. And what can happen that this merozoites can again infect the RBCs. All right, so this is the blood stage of the life cycle of Plasmodium. And when these merozoites enter into the blood cells, that is RBCs, they develop into the tropozoid stage, and then it is divided into two parts: immature tropozoid or early stage of tropozoid, that is the ring stage, and the mature tropozoid, that is the late stage of tropozoid. So simply you can write tropozoid stage as well. So merozoites transformed into the tropozoid stage, then tropozoids mature, and then tropozoids can transform into again schizons. All right. And when these schizons get ruptured, they release the merozoites, and these merozoites can again infect the RBCs, and the life cycle continues within the human host. Okay, so this is again taking place inside the humans and in the RBCs. Second is that I told you some of these schizons can remain, transform into the hypnozoites. Okay, so hypnozoites are the dormant stage, and they can cause the relapse of malaria. So that is another part of the life cycle. When these tropozoid stage are present, they can transform into the sexual form, that is the gametocytes. Okay, and these gametocytes are differentiated into two, that is the macrogametophytes and the microgametophytes. Okay, so macrogametophytes are the female part, and microgametocytes are the male part. Right, and these gametocytes are then picked up. So both male and female gametocytes, that is micro as well as the macrogametocytes, has to be picked up by the mosquitoes during the blood meal, and then it comes into the circulation of the life cycle in the vector host, that is the Anopheles mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. So this is called as, on the right side, the human is called as the schizogonic life cycle, and this is called as the sporogonic life cycle, simply because the schizons are formed in both the cases, in the liver stage as well as the RBC stage. And in the case of the mosquito, no schizons are formed, rather sporozoites are formed. So therefore it is called as the sporogonic life cycle. So how it occurs? Again, macrogametocytes or microgametocytes present hai. The microgametocytes, they are invading the macrogametocytes. Fertilization is taking place, zygote is formed, it transformed into the eukinete state transformed into the oocyst. Oocyst then rupture, releasing the sporozoites, and these sporozoites are then taken into the salivary gland, and salivary gland से inject कर दिए जाते हैं directly into the human bloodstream when the mosquito bites, thus completing the life cycle. So इसको easily आप remember कर सकते हैं using this simple diagram. Okay, so when you are asked to draw the diagram, you don't have to draw each and every stage. You simply write the text. Okay, that is sufficient for the life cycle. Okay, coming to the next topic, which is the ultrastructure of the Plasmodium. So as there are two major stages, first is the sporozoid stage, and then it is the tropozoid stage. Okay, and both are there in case of the humans. So the these two stages we have to study in this unit. All right. So first is the sporozoite stage. As you know, it is the infective stage to the humans. That means this is the stage which the mosquito injects inside the host body, that is human body. So these are spindle, or they are elongated structures which are swollen at the middle portion and they are tapered at the end portion. Right. And at the end there is an apical cap which is present, and the body is covered with 3-layered pellicle. The pellicle is the outer wall of these sporocysts, which is 3-layered. All right. And it is elastic in nature, that is, it is quite flexible. So because it is flexible, because it needs to it needs to go through all these blood circulation, and it has to migrate into the liver cell. That's why it is elastic, okay, or it is quite flexible. It contains a lot of longitudinally arranged microtubules. So you can see here a lot of microtubules are present. All right, and that helps in the contraction and relaxation process. Okay, so why the contraction and relaxation process is required in the pellicular region or in the pellicle is that these are not the dormant stage. They are the active stage, and they have to migrate. So for the migration or the wriggling movement process, they need the contractile structures, and these microtubules helps in the contraction and relaxation process, thus facilitating the movement of the worms inside the host. Then at the anterior end, which is there shown in the right side, you can see there is a depression or a hollow cup-like structure which is present there, and that is called as the apical cap. It is not cup, it is cap. Okay, so that is the topmost portion of the anterior part, that is the apical cap, which is present. Okay, and this apical region opens into a narrow secretory organelles called as the rope of Treis. Okay, so rope of Treis are basically these organelles which are secretory in nature. All right, and these secretory organelles, what they do, they release the cytolytic enzyme. So cytolytic, cell को lysis करने वाला. Cyto is derived from the word cell, and lytic means that is causing lysis or breakdown or destruction. So these enzymes which are released by the secretory organelles, यहाँ पे दिखाया नहीं है, अच्छा ये है. These are the secretory organelles. Okay, so these bulb-like structures are present, and they are paired. Okay, so they are present in 2 in numbers. So these organelles, which are the secretory organelles, they secrete the enzyme which digest the cell wall or the cell of the liver cells. Okay, and they help in the penetration of the liver cell. Also, if you look at the presence of mitochondria, which is the energy source in this organism, you can see that only single mitochondria is present. Okay, and there is a number of convoluted tubules as well. So these are the convoluted tubules. जैसे कि आपने convoluted tubules पढ़ा होगा kidney के structures में, PCT, DCT, distal convoluted tubule, proximal convoluted tubule. So convoluted tubular structures is present. Okay, and that has the unknown function. It is still unknown. Some of the scientists recently have given that these helps in the elimination of the different host toxin molecules or host metabolites, but still it is unknown that what these function of these convoluted tubules are. Then comes the micropyle, which is the representative of the oral opening. Okay, in case of, or the cytosome in case of the other protozoan, and from there the feeding can take place. All right. Then comes the ultrastructure of the ring stage, which is the tropozoite stage. And as I have told you in the life cycle, that this stage is present inside the RBC. Okay, so this tropozoite, they contains a double membrane structure which is called as the plasma lemma, and this structure that covers the whole tropozoite, giving it a particular rigid shape. All right, and when you study under the electron microscope, you will find all these structures which are arranged here. And the first is the, what you look at is the matrix itself. So cytoplasm is present, which contains a lot of proteins, and mainly the ribonucleoproteins are present inside these cytoplasm. All right. And if you look at the endoplasmic reticulum, which is labeled here, you can see here that it is not as distinct as in case of the animal cell. So it is not well developed endoplasmic reticulum, and both type of endoplasmic reticulums are there in case of the tropozoites, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, that is SER, and rough endoplasmic reticulum, that is RER. और स्मूथ और रफ एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम के बारे में आपको पता ही है कि अगर उसके साथ क्या प्रेजेंट है, राइबोसोम प्रेजेंट है, so it is called as the rough endoplasmic reticulum, or if ribosome is not attached, it is called as the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So both of these structures are present, and unlike the sporozoites where there was only single mitochondria present, here there are lot of mitochondria which can be seen. All right, and these mitochondria again are double layered structures, so there is a outer membrane as well as the inner membrane. All right, and there are cristae which is present at the peripheral surface, peripheral region of the mitochondria. All right, then another structure which is present in case of the tropozoite is the presence of the Golgi apparatus, which is composed of several small vesicles. Okay, and they are arranged in a particular row-like fashion. So see, they are arranged in a row structure. Okay, so these are the Golgi apparatus which are there in case of the tropozoite stage. Also, there is a concentric body. You can see here that this is the concentric body, which is attached, or which is extension of the plasma lemma itself. Okay, and it appears that this concentric body is again attached, or it is a part of the plasma lemma, which is the outer layer. Again, the function of this is quite disputed, and we still don't know what the function of these concentric rings or concentric body is in case of the Plasmodium tropozoite. Another important organelle which you look here is the nucleus, which is again large structure, circular structure, which is present, and there is a dense material which is nucleolus, which is present inside the nucleus. So nucleus is quite distinct and enlarged. Also, you can see that a lot of food vacuoles are there, and these food vacuoles may contain hemozoin. The hemozoin is the pigment which is formed after the degradation of the hemoglobin, and these food vacuoles, they contain this pigment called as the hemozoin. And because of this hemozoin pigment, when it is ruptured, the RBC is ruptured and the tropozoite is filled, the hemozoin can cause the fever. So fever is because of, again, as I told you, the clinical manifestations occur because of the blood stage, not because of the liver stage of the parasite. So look, if you are looking for the Plasmodium vivax pathogenicity, there is a number of cases which are reported in all parts of the world. You can see from India to United States to African region. So everywhere this problem of malaria is there. So wherever the vector and the parasite is present, all the countries are suffering from, most of the countries are suffering from the problem of malaria. So what does the term malaria means? It is derived from two words, mala and area, that means bad air. So earlier it was thought that there was some sort of bad air which was causing the fever or illness in case of the humans. Okay, and they named it as malaria. And also this was quite prevalent in the swamp and marshy areas where a lot of breeding grounds for mosquitoes were present. Okay, so they thought that the bad air was coming from the ponds or the water bodies or the marshy areas, and that was causing the malaria. All right. And if you look at the number of people which are at the risk of this infection, it is estimated that about 2.5 billion people in the world are at the risk of this infection because of the Plasmodium vivax. All right. And in 2014, a report was published in which over 3.8 lakhs cases of malaria were reported in that year. Okay, so that is a very large number, 3.8 lakhs cases. Okay, and that constituted of about 1/6 of the overall cases reported globally in that year. So around 15%, 15 to 16% of the total cases were reported of Plasmodium vivax from India alone. So you can think of the severe conditions in India of this disease. So it is quite prevalent disease in case of the Indian and Indian subcontinent as well. Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, all these countries, Sri Lanka are suffering from the problem of malaria. All right. And the one reason why these subcontinents and the African nations are suffering first is because of the poor hygienic conditions. Okay, there is a lot of space provided for the mosquitoes to breed. Okay, and secondly, the environmental conditions or the weather conditions are quite favorable for the mosquito vector as well as the parasite to breed. Okay, so that's why these cases are quite prevalent in African nations as well as in the Indian subcontinent. If you look at the mechanism or the mode of actions for various drugs for the treatment of these parasites, there are drugs which specifically kills the mosquito stage inside the human host, and there are drugs which are used for a long time. So, for example, chloroquine, hydrochloroquine, mefloquine, and artemisinin, all those have been used for a long time, more than 2 decades or 3 decades earlier they were used. So because of their continuous use and misuse means if a physician or a doctor advise you to take medication for 3 days and you take it for 2 days only, and you don't take the complete course, chances are there that some of the parasites or the protozoans, they can become resistant. Resistant means that if you again give them treatment, the person will not respond to the anti-malarial drugs. So meaning that the Plasmodium vivax, which is present inside the body of the host, has adapted itself or became resistant to the drugs which are given him or which were given earlier. So it is always advised in case of both antibiotics, antihelminthics, in case of antimalarials as well, antiparasitic drugs, that you have to take the complete course. Otherwise, the chances of resistance increase more than quite frequently. Okay, so they become resistant quite easily. So the resistant cases as well as the presence of all these breeding ground for mosquito has resulted in the problem for the containment of the malarial infection, particularly in the urban areas. So what is happening in case of the malarial controls? A lot of money is being invested both at the government level as well as in the private sector to control these mosquitoes, to devise strategies so that we can curb this mosquito infection. But again, until and unless we wipe out the mosquitoes or we have a certain vaccine available, we cannot control this mosquito infection. Okay, and this malaria infection. And why this vaccine is not available or it is not working? Because it has a very short life cycle. It transforms its stage very easily. All right. So what happens that if you develop a vaccine against propozoid, it can change into the next stage. Okay, if you develop a vaccine against schizons, it can change into the trophozoite stage. So vaccination is still a dream for the malaria, and there are a lot of vaccine candidates which have been tested and they have shown good efficacy, but we don't have a commercially available vaccine that you can take for malaria. And hopefully there could be a vaccine which is called as the combinational vaccine. So targeting multiple stages of the plasmodium could be a way out to get a successful vaccine in the future. On the right side, you can see there are different curves which are given here, and as there are different species of plasmodium, like Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malari. That are the 4 major species. Okay. इसके अलावा एक और होती है Plasmodium novaski, और वो rats के केस में होती है. We don't have to go into the detail of that. So these basically 4 stages, they infect the humans. These 4 species infect the human host. And you can see here that in case of the Plasmodium vivax, that is in the second curve, the rise in temperature is occurring at what? After every 3rd day. So first day you will get fever, second day you won't get any fever, on the 3rd day again you will get the fever. So the pulse is there, and it is not like you suffer from the continuous fever in case of the Plasmodium vivax malaria. All right. So that type of fever is called as the tertian fever. Tertiary, primary, secondary, tertiary. The tertiary means third. तो उसी से नाम लिया गया कि फीवर फर्स्ट डे आता है और फिर 3rd डे आता है. So that means it is called as the tertiary or tertian malaria. In case, and also the fever is for a very short duration. Okay, बहुत हाई फीवर होगा बहुत शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन के लिए, 103 104 तक पहुंच जाता है फीवर, एंड देन इट ड्रॉप्स. सो विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 5 to 6 hours the temperature drops again, and there will be no problem, and again on the 3rd day the temperature will rise and then drops. But in case of Plasmodium falciparum, the high temperature is persistent. तो अगर आप 24 hours को 1 day में काउंट करते हैं, so for around 20 to 22 hours you get high fever. Okay, then on the 2nd day it will relapse, and again on the 3rd day it will increase, and on the 4th it will continue for the 3rd day as well as on the 4th day. So there is a difference in the cycle of the fever, and by knowing this cycle you can easily tell that what species have been infected, or the human is infected with what species of malaria. That means it is either Plasmodium vivax or ovale, or it is the Plasmodium falciparum. So again it is called as the tertian or subtertian, because on the 1st day you get fever, 2nd day is the resting phase, and in the 3rd day again you get the fever. So this is called as, these two are called as the tertian fevers, while in case of malaria, Plasmodium malari, you get fever on the 4th day. तो 4th quaternary to quatern malaria. First day को fever आएगा कुछ देर के लिए, and then on the 4th day you will have fever. So this is called as the spells of fever in case of the malaria parasite. All right, and this is this fever, which is the common symptom, and the spell of fever is followed by anemia and the enlargement of spines. So blood will be lost, blood cells will be damaged, and that will cause the anemia as well as the enlargement of the spleens, splenomegaly, because the spleen has to secrete more and more, synthesize more and more RBC. Okay, because it is the storage organ for the RBC. Then comes the most important characteristics is basically, as I told you, is the fever, and other symptoms can include the chills, headache, myalgias, okay, pain in the muscles, and nausea and vomiting. So all these symptoms can be there along with the fever. And some of the symptoms which are occasionally there are the abdominal pain, diarrhea, and the cough. So these symptoms are quite rare. So they are not there in almost all the cases. So as the disease progresses, some of the patients can develop the classical malaria paroxysm. That means that they have the particular stage, or they have the particular spell of the fever. In case of Plasmodium falciparum, and in case of the malaria as well, and Plasmodium vivax ovale, that the fever comes for a particular time and it has the intermittent period as well. So in case of Plasmodium vivax, we will focus on vivax only because it is there in our syllabus. There is a first stage which is called as the cold stage. So the first 15 to 60 minutes of invading the RBCs, the person will feel cold. All right. So he will suffer from shivering. तो आपने देखा होगा कि जब मलेरिया होता है तो shivering होती है, and that is for only 15 to 60 minutes. All right, and that is called as the cold stage. After that stage comes the hot stage, and in the hot stage, what happens that the uh, temperature of the body rises up to 41 डिग्री सेल्सियस. नॉर्मल बॉडी टेम्परेचर कितना होता है 37 डिग्री सेल्सियस. तो 37 से 41 डिग्री सेल्सियस जो है टेम्परेचर राइज कर जाता है. सो इन टर्म्स ऑफ फ़ारेनहाइट फ्रॉम 98.6 फ़ारेनहाइट टू 102 103 डिग्री फ़ारेनहाइट तक टेम्परेचर बॉडी का राइज कर जाता है, एंड दैट इज टेकिंग फॉर अ पीरियड ऑफ अराउंड 2 to 6 hours. So that is called as the hot stage. And finally, after the hot stage, there is a stage that is called as the sweating stage. तो जब बुखार उतरता है या when the temperature goes down, you feel sweatiness. Okay, you feel sweat all over your body, and sweating occurs for 2 to 4 hours. Right, and then the temperature during this phase, because of sweating, क्योंकि evaporation causes cooling, जैसे आपने पढ़ा है. So because of this sweating, the temperature of the patient drops rapidly. And because of all these stages which are present, hot stage, cold stage, and sweating stage, the patient feel ill for a certain point only. तो उसे 6 घंटे तक उसको बीमार लगेगा और फिर उसके बाद वो ठीक लगने लगेगा. So people ignore this fever, okay, and that is dangerous. So what happens that in case of the untreated patient, this again and again coming of high fever can cause damage, okay, and ultimately it can cause the deaths as well. All right. So in case of the malaria, the febrile response or the fever response is because of the rupture of the mature schizons. As I told you, the schizons, they rupture and invade the again RBCs, and because of the hemozoin pigment which is present there, and they can cause the febrile response. And in case of virus, the schizons mature every 48 hours. 48 hours का मतलब कितना हो गया 2 days. So therefore it is called as the tertiary malaria or the tertian malaria. All right. In case of some of the patients, there can be a relapse of malaria, which is again, as I told you, because of the hypnozoites, which are the dormant stage, which remains inside the liver. Right. And these hypnozoites can get reactivated, and they can initiate the fresh infection or the erythrocytic cycle and the new attack of malaria. And these hypnozoites can also serve as the source of infection for future as well. So mosquito की जरूरत ही नहीं है, और वो again that can be serve as the source of infection in the coming time. Okay, so I think we have only 5 minutes left. So no point of starting the next topic, which is Leishmania donogonii. So एक चीज मैं आपसे ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि I have to